I met before? We've met before. I think so.
No?
No? Brand new director?
Well, July, right? July.
Yeah.
So maybe let's hear, how do we do this? We go around and have everybody introduce themselves.
Sure. Yeah.
And just
Do you want to
tell me how
introduce
long-
yourself, or you want to do that later?
I can do that.
Because there's a lot of new people coming.
Do you want to introduce me or want me to introduce you?
You probably
Are we-
introduce yourself.
We're so weird. All right, guys. Hi, everybody in Zoom land. Woo! We're going to get started. I guess I'm going to introduce myself.
Yep, this is Judy.
I'm Judy.
Hi, Judy.
I flew in from Chicago. My name is Judy Joel, okay? J-O-E-L, like Billy Joel. Really easy name. People tend to remember it, which is really, really nice. It's been a great direct selling name, actually. Yeah, I work for the Pampered Chef. I came in to work with Claudia's team the next couple of days, so I'm really excited that those of you are able to come here, actually show in the meeting room. And then I know we have, there's a bee. And I know we have directors who are zooming in. And so I'm really excited about that. There it is. It smells the fudge.
Yep.
Oh,
Close the door, close the door.
Okay, the bee is gone for those of you who might be interested. Anyway, okay, so a little bit about me. I've been in direct selling for over 30 years. I started when my babies were truly babies. I was a school teacher. I taught first grade in New York City. My husband got transferred to Chicago. We all moved out to Chicago, and I couldn't reciprocate my teaching license. I couldn't afford to sub because daycare was more than I would have made subbing. And so I had to find something to do, and that's how I fell into direct selling. And so I was going to do it for a few months, and that was it, because I'm going to go get my teaching license reinstated. But I fell in love with this business. I absolutely fell in love with it. And I think it was more about, for me, it's about the people. It's about the people that I meet and have the privilege of working with. I tell people I created a family around us because we didn't know anybody in Chicago when we moved there. It was like, boom, you guys all understand that. Who's military here? So you get that, right? Yeah, you have no one around you. And what direct selling really did for us was it built a family around us that we became very close with. So I fell in love with the business along the way, had a lot of success along the way, was blessed to lead some amazing teams. And I just never left the business. I've been with Pampered Chef for 10 years. I was in the field for 15 years of those 30. And then I got an itch to learn a little bit about the corporate end of it and what happened behind the scenes in direct selling. And so I spent almost 7 years with a startup company, and now I've been 10 years with Pampered Chef. And my love and my passion is being in the field. When I have to sit behind my desk for too long, I get just a tiny bit crazy, and I'm going to get out. And so when leaders call and they say, hey, you want to come visit? I'm like, yes, I do. And so Claudia, actually, I owed you this for a long time, right? And we were trying to get it together and make it all work. But Claudia said, I'm just going to put you on the back burner until I really need you. And so what ended up happening is when you all promoted to a senior executive team, you earned a trip in from the home office, and I was going to come. One thing led to another, and the timing just didn't work out.
We had a retreat.
Yeah. So, and then a few months ago, Claudia reached out, and she said, we're going to be doing the run for national, and it would be so much fun if you could come out now. And I was like, yep, I'm all in. I told Claudia the only person who could ever get me to finish executive seminar, take one day, and then get on a plane again at 6:30 in the morning would be her. That would be it. There's got to be very few other people I would do that for. But I'm really excited to spend 2 days with you guys. I really, truly am. I'm excited about your success. I'm excited about all the energy that's going on in this team. It's just really is a fabulous, fabulous thing. So we'll get to know each other more today and tomorrow, I'm sure. And as we do that, my hope is that if in some small way I'm able to help you have a stronger business, help you reach for your dreams and goals in this business, or not be afraid to reach for your dreams and goals in this business. If in some small way I can help you do that, that's what I really hope happens here in the next couple of days. So. Okay, so that's a little bit about me. So if you guys would just
go around.
Yeah, just go around and tell me your name, how long you've been with the Pampered Chef, how long you've been a director. Everybody here directors? Okay, let's go for it. So
I know, we grew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ashley, I've been with Pampered Chef since Valentine's Day of this year.
Okay.
And recently director since beginning of July, end of June.
Yeah, something like
That's
that.
great. Tell me your last name too.
Schiller.
Okay, it helps me hear your last names because I travel all around the country with the Pampered Chef. And so the names, when I put the two names together, it just really helps me do it. Because sometimes when you say your last name, I go, oh yeah, I've seen that name across my desk. And I have seen your name across that desk, so that's awesome. Yes, ma'am.
Andrea Morgan.
Okay, Andrea.
It'll be a year in November.
Uh-huh.
I've been with Pampered Chef, and I became a director in February.
Awesome, that is great. So Ashley, Andrea. Okay, so Ashley, why did you decide to join Pampered Chef?
Honestly, I fell in love with the products.
Good.
And I already had a love for cooking and baking, so
Yeah.
it just kind of seemed fitting. I came from another direct sales company, and this has just been a whole different experience.
Great.
It's been great.
I'm glad. Do you live local?
Yep, I'm in Lafargeville.
Okay,
It's about
so it's not far.
15, 20 minutes.
Okay. And Andrea, do you live local?
Yeah, Lafargeville.
Lafargeville, so you guys are really close together. If you're part of each other's teams, just tell me if you're connected. Like if you're not direct, tell me who's connected to who.
These three.
Which
On
three?
Casey's team.
These three right here?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Casey.
And I'm Casey Barbarito. I have been with Pampered Chef for a little over 2 years,
Mhm.
and I got my advanced directorship.
Just a few months ago. I remember when it came, wasn't it? Just
Yeah, probably
beginning of the
5
summer?
months ago.
beginning of the
Yeah.
summer, maybe? Yeah.
Yep.
I remember when it came across.
Mhm.
It's because you and I met at Donna Landing's
Yes.
country.
No, you met the first time here.
Yes,
Remember,
the
you were
first time
sitting in the
here.
back and you weren't promoted.
That's not a year ago.
I might-
That's a couple
I was
years ago.
director, yeah.
Yeah, she was director.
Yeah,
Were you
I
director
think
yet?
so, yeah.
When I was
I
here?
just got director.
I
Yeah,
didn't
you were like brand new though, right?
Mhm.
You face this way. We face a different way.
Yep.
I was looking this way, yeah. See, I can remember those weird things.
I'm Davina Harris. I've been with Pampered Chef for about 7.5 months now, and I just became director at the end of September.
Good for you. Congratulations. Davina got me a great hotel room.
Yeah, hooked her up.
She hooked me up, yeah.
Tracy Hummel, my 1-year anniversary was October 5th, and I just became a director at the end of September.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
I'm Jessica Fairchild. I actually was with Pampered Chef from 2010 to 2015 and rejoined this past June, promoted to director at the end of July.
Good for you. So when you different team?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And you live locally?
Yeah, over in Carthage.
So you're not that far at all. Okay, my dear.
Jody Reagan. A little over about 2.5 years, been with Pampered
Yeah.
Chef. Promoted to advanced director May, June, sometime in there, May or June, so.
So I'm really, okay, just make sure I'm right here. If I remember correctly, we were at Donna Landy's together and you were struggling.
Yes, I'm still kind of struggling.
You're an advanced director, darling.
Thank
That does my heart good. Yes, go ahead.
Carolyn Murdoch on Jody's team.
Uh-huh.
I 2.5 years. I
Okay.
joined.
She's about a month behind me joining. if
Okay,
that.
awesome.
If that.
Yeah. I joined just to finally take my daughter to Disney. We went twice.
That's great. You get to go again?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
For
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I promoted to director last October, so it's been a year, and then to advance in this past May.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Who's your director?
Me.
Okay.
Oh,
And so who's
okay.
your, okay,
No,
so
Jamie,
who's your
she's
dad?
not here.
Okay, she's not here.
Yeah.
Okay.
She should be here tomorrow, I think, right?
Yeah, you can,
Okay. Yeah, that's
She'll be
awesome.
here tomorrow.
Good, good, good.
And then we have one more, and she just promoted last month to fast
And who's this?
track. Everybody knows.
I do know you. Hi, guys. Arlene and Lori. Lori Beckwell. Oh my gosh, Maureen Gabriel's in the house. Hi, Maureen.
Arlene is Trisha's daughter.
Arlene is Trisha's daughter. I knew it. There's my Lori. Hi, Arlene. I know you're hiding from me. Let's see. Who's that? Allison?
Hi.
Hi. How are you, Arlene?
I'm good. I just got out of the shower, so that's why I'm not showing my face. I'm multitasking over here, guys.
Yesterday, Arlene, I know how you're feeling. I was like doing in the garden. My husband was in the back, like power washing the side of the house down because there was like some he wanted to get rid of it. So I said, I'm gonna run and take a shower. And then my doorbell rang, and I was like, who the heck is my neighbor? And I'm like, I have a robe on. And I was like, okay, come on in, I'll be right back. So, but anyway, well, I'm excited that we're all here today, and this training that we're going to do, this director training today, hopefully will help all of you get better ideas on how to be a stronger leader to your team, a stronger leader for yourself, and a stronger leader for your team. And so we're going to have some fun. But first, I just really want to congratulate all of you guys. I have to tell you, you are really, truly rocking it, right? You know there's amazing things going on in this organization. Were you all at National Conference? Because I wandered into the room there, right? And there was so much, there was so much going on in that room, and I left there, and I went to meet my peers, the rest of the field development team, and I just could not stop talking about what was going on in that room. I mean, it was just amazing to see all the energy, all the excitement, so many of you setting big goals and ready to go after them. And here we are now, finally, we're in the fall months, and you are going after the highest position in the land, if you will, right? You're going after that national executive team title, and it really, truly is a big deal. So you have 1 month in. We're in the middle. Yes, you did it. Absolutely, you did it with to spare, right? You did it
Extra.
with extra. Yeah, you did an amazing job. And so now we have the month of October and the month of November. And in December, we're going to be celebrating that. And so our hope is that what we're able to bring to you today, what we're able to bring to your team tomorrow is really going to help propel this team to that. But in doing that, solidify each and every single one of your businesses. See, the beautiful thing about becoming a national executive team, it means that every single director team is having success as well, right? And that's the beautiful, beautiful thing about it, is that everybody is working together towards this huge goal. But in doing that, you're strengthening all your own teams, you're strengthening all your own businesses, and you're really having the success that you're looking for too. So look at this. I mean, you guys have had an amazing, amazing year, right? As an organization, you've seen growth in all areas: sales, recruiting, and director development. Org sales in 2017 was 1.2 million. We're only in October, and you're at 1.7 million. You're going to cross the $2 million mark probably this month.
Can they see that?
They might not be able to.
Yeah.
You need to, I'm sorry to interrupt.
I can post it.
I'm going to put, okay,
Yeah.
Claudia will post it. So that is pretty amazing. And then recruiting, last year you welcomed 313 consultants in all of last year. And I can remember celebrating that number. 313, you crossed the 300 mark. That was huge accomplishment for this team. This year, 603. You've already doubled what you did last year, right? More consultants in this Pampered Chef family, more consultants on every single one of your organizations and your teams. Your goal was 450. What's the new goal? Because you know that.
You know, we reset it to 600. And they
Yeah, so it's time to reset it again, guys. So I'm actually pretty good at figuring this stuff out. I'd have to look at the prior year comparison to do it, but my guess is
859.
Oh, I like it.
Oh.
Write it down.
Right?
Write it down. So somebody don't forget that number was thrown out. Let me just do some math really quick.
Popped in my head.
So our original goal was 450.
Yeah, so 50 months. 9 months. 70 months. Yeah, you're in the ballpark. Write it down. 859. You're in the ballpark. You're gonna be around between 800 and 850. I'm gonna say you're in the ball. Right to 850. I say you go for 859. I say you go for it. Who threw it out?
I did.
You go for it. That's the number.
Well, good, Jody.
Wait for Jody. Okay, guys. Jody threw out a number, so you guys have already beaten your 450 goal. You raised it to 600. You've already beaten that. And so now we're looking for a year-end recruiting goal. Jody threw out 859. And I absolutely believe it's doable. So I say go for it. What a weird, strange number.
Yeah,
I love it. Go for it. I say go for it. Since January of 2018, you've promoted 25 fast track directors, 19 directors, 6 advanced, 4 fast track advanced, 3 senior, right? And 1 executive. I mean, that is like flipping amazing. That is amazing right there. You should be, every one of you should be so very, very proud of the success that's going on in this team and the momentum that is just taking you to new levels of success, each and every single one of you. And that's what's amazing about it. I could not be more proud. Jean was blown away by those numbers, just blown away by them. So it's really great. So congratulations. So I'm a big believer in kind of starting everything. But every now and then I'm going to flip ahead because I can't see what my next slide is, just to see where I'm going, where I am. I'm a huge believer in beginning any meeting with the end in mind, right? Stephen Covey, the 7, oh my gosh, it just blows my head. His 7 rules, his 7 laws. One of them is you always begin with the end in mind. And that whenever you start something new or you're looking forward to something, you always have to ask yourself, what do I want it to look like when I'm finished, right? What do I want it to look like when I'm finished? And you guys have been doing a great job of that. You came out of national conference with a goal, and you began with the end in mind. Not only did you know what the goal was to bring this organization to national executive status, but you could also visualize the goal, see the goal, and make it happen. And it's one thing to be part of an amazing team like this, to be excited about the momentum that's happening, excited about the goal that you're all after. But my question to each and every one of you is, why not you? What is your goal? What is it that you want to achieve, right? And each and every one of you have that ability right now, today, and again, probably, in January when the year changes, to really look at your business and decide, what is it that I want for my business? Yeah, I'm part of this great, amazing superstar team. And one of the fastest growing, actually, this team was recognized as the #1 fastest growing team of all executive teams in the nation for the first 9 months of the year. 68% growth. You blew second place out of the water by double, right? The number 2, Ellington Boys, had 37%. You guys had 68% growth year over year. So #1 team in the nation in growth right now. That's amazing. But what about you, right? Each and every one of you. So I want you to kind of imagine the possibilities, and I'm going to show a similar slide to your consultants tomorrow in the consultant meeting. But I always love to show people possibilities, right? Because it's one thing to look at that and go, yeah, well, that's Claudia. And you know what? I think it was 3 years ago I was here. So 2.
When you wanted to affect. Yeah, right? Yeah.
No, I came before that. Didn't I come once?
No.
It was when you promoted to exec, so it was 2 years ago in this room.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you think about that, that's really pretty amazing. I mean, that growth that's happened in the last 2 years when you promoted to exec, right? And so sometimes you look at that and you think, yeah, but what about each and every one of you? You look at those numbers and you feel like they're so out there, I don't know that I could ever do that. Well, you know what, 2 years ago when we came here, Claudia didn't think that this was ever going to happen either. She didn't realize what momentum could happen in the business and what kind of growth could happen. And so what I did here is I just took, and we'll send you guys this too, I just took leaders from across the country who went through our LEAD program last year. And I really just kind of looked at where they were year over year, okay, at the very end of 2017. So December, this is December 2017. Okay. So I said, okay, here's leader number 1. Her end count in December 2016, okay, before she went into our lead program, was 14. And 1 year later, her end count was 61. You following what I'm doing here? Okay. Her org sales in December of 2016 was $3,733 as a director. What does that mean? She wasn't paid at her level, right? She didn't hit the magic $5,000 mark, right, honey? The magic $5,000 mark wasn't hit, right? So she wasn't paid at her level. But 1 year later, in the same month, her organization was selling $34,813. Okay? Her earnings were $845 here, and 1 year later, $2,100. Right? And so if you're a director, if you're a brand new director right now, right, and you're just like shooting for that 5,000 every month and hoping and praying that you're going to make it, this might be a scenario that you could look at so you could see what's possible, right? So she quadrupled the size of her team, and in doing that, tripled her income. Okay. Leader number 2 went from 21 to 151. Almost the same starting point, right? 6, 7 more consultants. So it's a third of the size bigger, but literally went to 151 consultants 1 year later. Went from selling 15,000 as an organization to selling 80,000 as an organization. Went from earning $2,250 to earning almost $6,000 in a month. How many of you would love to earn $6,000 a month? Okay? Leader number 3. Leader number 3, when she came into this, she was a director. She started in Lead East as a director. As a director, she had 30 people in her team, and through the program, went through both Lead East and Lead Plus, which means she graduated to advanced in the middle of it all. Okay? She went from 30 to 111, selling 25,000 to 91,000, doubling her income from 3,100 to 6,400. Pretty amazing, right? Leader number 4. I love this example of this leader, and there may be some of you in this room or on the Zoom that can relate to this, but most of you are very new. But this leader had been with, I love this example because she'd been with Pampered Chef for 11 years. And when she started, she was newly married. She had 3 babies during this time, right? And so she was raising her babies, and she was always a top seller with us. Like successful every single month, on every trip, never missed a trip, just a really great leader. She was an advanced director, had 1 director in her organization. And she came to that meeting and she said, why not me? Why can't it be me? Her 3rd one just went into 1st grade. You know what that's like, right? When they're going all day now. It's like an amazing thing. And so she had some really nice growth. Went from 90 to 115. Nothing outrageous, right? It's really 25 more people. But in those 25 people, she found a rock star. Actually, she found 2. And they promoted. And so now instead of being an advanced director with 1 director, she's an advanced director with 3 directors in her organization. Went from selling 33,000 to 60,000, from 3,000 to 4,100. And she said to me, Judy, that difference right there, that $1,000 a month made such a difference in our life, I can't even begin to tell you. Because now those kids, her kids can go to dance classes, and they do gymnastics now. And all the extra money is able to really, the extra $1,000 a month that she's making by building her team and saying, hey, why not me? Why can't I do this? Nothing crazy, right? But enough that has made her far more comfortable. Just paid off all of her debt and just bought a brand new home last month, probably even more than a week now. Leader number 5, I just saw her. Leader number 5 went from 194 to 285, from 113 to 206, from earning $6,600 to earning $8,000 a month. All right, and the reason I put these on here is I really want you to see what's possible. Right? Some of you right now are just thinking, I just want to go get 5 more consultants so I'm absolutely sure that I'm being paid at my level every single month. But I don't want you just thinking about going getting more 3 or 5 more consultants. I want you to think about what you really want. I want you to think past that and create a vision of what this future could look like and what could be possible for you with a Pampered Chef business. Because I promise you, those people are no different than any of you. This right here, 398 to 644, this number, this 644 a year ago, just crossed 1,000. Just crossed 1,000 this last week. And with the recruiting that went on last month. From selling 241 to 361, from earning 11,000 to 16,000. And I believe with that paycheck, that's a month, by the way, she remodeled her entire kitchen with that one paycheck. Okay? And all these people, no different than any one of you in this room. They just were not afraid to go after it and to see what was possible and put the systems in place to create the results. So why not you? And here's what I want you to start with the end in mind. What will your business look like on December 31st, 2018? So all of our executive leaders just came to Chicago last week, and we had a John Maxwell speaker as our guest speaker. She was amazing. Her name is Becky Speed, BeckySpeed.com. She did a great job, and in the middle of it, she said, John Maxwell's famous quote, "What will your business look like? What will your life look like on such a date?" And there's very few meetings, probably some of you guys have been to meetings with me before, I've asked this question to you, right? I never do a meeting without asking this question. What will your business look like? Because if you don't begin with the end in mind, then you're never going to get there. Because if we don't have a solid place of where we want to go, what we want to do, and what we want to achieve, then it won't ever happen. It would be like me getting on the plane this morning, right, in Chicago, and the pilot not knowing he was supposed to land in Syracuse. If he would have just took off and just kept flying around and flying around and flying around with no flight pattern, no goal, no place to land, eventually he would have just kept going and going and going, and we would have eventually crashed and burned. So the definition of burnout, in my mind, is a person without vision or without a goal. Okay? So what will your business look like? I want you to write it down. I want all of you to write it down. On December 31st, think about it this way, and I'm not going to put any words in your mouth. You write it the way you want to. How many shows do you want to be holding every single week, month? How much income do you want to be holding from those shows? How big is your team? What title do you hold? You know, I'm a huge believer, well, in this team, I don't even have to convince you. Oh my gosh, I'm a huge believer that anything can happen in 3 months, anywhere. Anywhere in this business. You could go from consultant to director, director to advanced, even advanced to senior in 3 months, right? We've seen people go in 18 months all the way to executive, right? Trish went to executive in 18 months. She broke every record in the history of the Pampered Chef by doing that, right? It absolutely can be done. So I want you to take a minute and write down, what will your business look like on December 31st, 2018? And then I'm going to ask you guys, at the end of this meeting, write this down so we don't forget. At the end of this meeting, I'm going to ask every director to go on your director page and share one thing that you want to be absolutely sure you create to happen by December 31st. It doesn't have to be all the things that you're writing down, but which one, and the question is this, which one, by achieving it, would make the biggest difference in your life in reaching your dreams and goals? Which one? which one of the things you just wrote down, if by achieving it, would make the biggest difference in your life, for your family, in reaching your dreams and goals. And that's the one I want you to have the courage to share on your director wall in the bullet train. And courage, I use it purposely because I know it takes courage to put that out there. I thought Claudia was going to have a heart attack when G. Jonas announced on that. G. Jonas announced on the executive call. I thought she was going to die. I could like reach through the line. I could reach through the line and go, oh, she's going to kill me. she's not happy. But at the end, it was a good thing when G said, Claudia's team is going for national in the next 3 months. And so she was kind of staying under the radar, but you don't tell G. Jonas anything to stay under the radar, ever. So.
Learned my lesson.
Well, there's no place else to go. The last title, we got to talk about the next goal soon.
Yeah, already done.
Good, I love that. Is it what I think it is? Good. All right. Everybody got their thing? Everybody in Zoom land have their thing written down? Lori Bedwell, you have your thing written down?
Oh, she knows.
Yes, there's goes the head, okay. All right, so my hope is now over the next 2 days, today the director training, tomorrow the training with your consultants, right? We're gonna give you the pieces to the puzzle that you need to create that to happen, okay? So today is really around leadership and how to be a strong leader. Tomorrow we're gonna be doing some good solid basics. Some of it, a little bit of this you'll hear repeated tomorrow, but here's what I want to tell you about tomorrow. When you come in tomorrow, I want you to walk in here or come onto this Zoom with 2 hats on. One is your director hat, okay? And the other is your consultant hat. Okay, your consultant hat. What can I learn to have a better, stronger personal business? Because as directors, you are and always will be a consultant first. Your personal business is the most important thing at every single level. I don't care how high you get. I don't care if one day you and Claudia are standing side by side as national executive directors in our company. Your personal business is still the base of everything that you stand on. Right? Knowing how to book, how to host coach, how to prospect, how to do a successful show, how to do follow-up, how to recruit, right? How to host coach, all of those things so important. And that's the base we put everything on. And you're gonna learn some of those basics tomorrow. But the director hat tomorrow, I want you to watch me, watch Claudia, watch what we're doing, and ask yourself, how are they interacting with those consultants? How are they inspiring, influencing? How are they helping them believe in themselves? And how can I do the same? Because the fact is I can't be in Watertown or on this Zoom every single month forever, right? 2 years ago I came, I'm back again now 2 years later. Claudia can't be with every single director of her organization every single day, every single week, or even every single month. It's just not possible in an organization this size. It's hard for some of you to keep up with the 5 or 6 or 10 you have on your team, right? So imagine. So you have to have that direct and learn and duplicate what we're doing so that you can do the same in your organization. The beautiful part about direct selling, if you do what the other people around you are doing to be successful, you will have the same results. Absolutely, positively. But you got to do all of it. You can't pick and choose and say, well, I'm going to do this, this, and this, but I don't know, I'm not so crazy about these 2 things, so I'm not going to do them. You won't have the same results. Okay? All right, so the 4 pillars of the business. How many of you have ever seen this before? We've kind of brought this around the country. We've taught to it, but I think it never gets old, and I think everybody needs a reminder of the 4 pillars. So if you look at this building, if you will, this edifice, your business, the roof represents your business. And the 4 pillars are what holds up the roof. And the 4 pillars are belief, passion, skill, and will. Okay? And those 4 pillars hold up everything that is your business. Belief, right? Belief. I don't know which one is more important. But the fact is that all of them are equally as important. And from time to time, all of them will get some cracks in them, right? Need to be like shored up a little bit. The problem occurs is when the pillars start falling, right? Where they're not there at all anymore, and the business can come crashing down on top of you. So belief, right? Belief is about believing in yourself, believing in your company, believing in this avenue that you've chosen to be part of called direct selling, right? It's belief. And my question to everyone is this: do you believe in yourself that you can do, be, and have anything you want in this life if you're willing to work hard enough to get it? And there's that word again, it's hard work. Do you believe that you can do, be, and have anything you want in this life if you're willing to work hard enough to get it? Belief in self is probably the most important element of belief. And when you have belief in yourself, and you believe that you can be successful, that you deserve to be successful, okay, that you're not afraid to be successful, when you have that belief, everything else follows. In my years in this business and direct selling and at Pampered Chef, here's what I know is when the belief in self is cracked, the belief in the company cracks too. And the belief in direct selling channel cracks too. And you've got to build your own belief. And there are ways to do that. There are ways, if you can sit here right now and say, yeah, I'm not so sure I can be successful, I'm not so sure I'm good enough, or whatever the case may be, there are things that you can do to shore up that belief, to strengthen your belief in self. This is a really important piece of the puzzle. Passion. The passion pillar. Passion is the energy that we throw out to the world. That's just as simple as it can be defined. And here's what you need to know about passion and the energy that you throw out to the world. It will always come back to you. What we throw out in our life will always come back to us. If we are always throwing out good vibes, positive thoughts, positive energy, it is going to come back to you 10 times over. And if you're throwing out negative crap, it's going to come back to you too. I promise you. And it doesn't feel good to have negative crap coming your way. It feels good though when that positive energy is coming your way. So always ask yourself the question, what am I throwing out to the world every day? What are the words that are coming out of my mouth? What am I saying and sharing about my business? What I want it to be, what I believe it can be. That belief and passion pillar really do stand side by side for a reason, because they really do work together. Okay, skill. Skill to me is the easiest pillar. And why? Because I know the Pampered Chef has the best training out there. I know that you all have the ability to get the skill you need, to master the skills you need to be successful in your business. Even if Claudia wasn't your leader, every single one of you have that ability, because we have that amazing training at Pampered Chef already. You're just blessed to have Claudia as your leader and Donna as her leader, because together they create amazing things, and they really are feeding you. You are very, very blessed. I can't even begin to tell you. You know, I think sometimes we live in our, you know, you guys, a lot of you are new, and you're up here in Watertown or in upstate New York, wherever you are, right? And you kind of live in that world. And then you come to national conference and your mind is blown, right? And all of a sudden you go, holy moly. This little Pampered Chef world is a whole lot bigger, right, than I thought it was. And you see these things that are happening all around you, right? It just really is amazing. And I think that's why it's so important sometimes that we come out as the home office, and that you really encourage your teams to come into national conference with you, or go to regional meetings or retreats or anything that's happening, so that you can get a little feel for that bigger world. But when I tell you that you're blessed to be part of this organization, you are blessed to be part of this organization, because you have leaders in this organization, and Claudia's relationship with Donna and what they've built together is just amazing, and you're blessed by that. And if you follow the lead that you've been given here, I promise you, you're going to have success. And you got to not be afraid to work for it. So skill, right? You got to master the skills. Will. What's will? Not just wanting it. Okay, I can want it, but what is the will part of it? It's doing it. It's the action piece of it. Will is the doing it. I like to say it's getting your butt off the couch and actually doing what needs to be done to have the success that it is that you're looking for. And will is an interesting thing. So how many of you heard of this book, The Wisdom of Oz? Some of you have heard of it because I know that Claudia brought it to all of you. Some of you went to a retreat that this book was the centerfold of what was going on. But in the book, The Wisdom of Oz, the authors, Tom Connors and Roger Smith, if you haven't read this book, get it. It will change your life. If nothing else, you'll never watch the movie again the same way, right? Tom Connors and Roger Smith say personal accountability is an act of will. Why don't you think about that for a minute? Personal accountability is an act of will. And if we can exercise the means to be personally accountable to ourselves for the things we say that we want in our business, if we can exercise the means to do that, then we literally can achieve anything we want to achieve in our lives, if we can be personally accountable to ourselves. Right? Now, along the way, you may ask Claudia or another director or assistant director to help you be accountable to yourself, but don't kid yourself. It's no one else's responsibility to hold you accountable but you. At the end of the day, you are the person responsible for that. And that's an act of will. It truly is. The Wisdom of Oz. I love this book. And I know Claudia has taken it to all new levels. And I was so excited to see. We actually brought this book to our executives last year, executive seminar. And we introduced this book and the whole concept of personal accountability. And Claudia and some other executives across the country really ran with this theme for a long time. What did you see on my desk when you walked in last week?
Oh, she had a ruby slipper.
I did. Like ever since National Conference, they're right there on my desk. So The Wisdom of Oz, Roger Connors and Tom Smith, the whole book is based on personal accountability and the concept of personal accountability. What does it mean to be personally accountable? And when we're personally accountable, we are living above the line. And in the book, they describe living above the line is that you're able to see a situation as it really is, the reality of the situation. You're able to own that situation and understand that something you did or did not do created the situation that you're looking at, whether it's a positive situation or it could be perceived as a negative situation. Once you see it and then you own it, the next step is to solve it and to understand that we can change any situation that we have in our life if we want to. And then finally to do it. And when you're living along above the line, you're seeing it, you're owning it, you're solving it, and you're doing it. When you're living below the line, you have a wait and see attitude. Tell me what I should be doing. I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do. But you know, it's not my job to do that. Or you just ignore it or deny, or you point fingers, right? You know, a pampered chef hadn't done this, my business would be stronger. Okay? It's things like that is living below the line. Now, here's the Oz principle, that a thin line separates success from failure, great organizations from ordinary ones. And I would say this is a great organization. Below the line lies excuse-making, blaming others, confusion, an attitude of helplessness, while above the line, we find a sense of reality, we find a sense of ownership, commitment, we find solutions to problems, and we have determined action to create it to happen. So ask yourself this question. in your business or in your life, because these are not just business skills, are they? They're life skills. Are you living above the line or below the line the majority of the time? Because here's the thing about living above the line and below the line. Gravity is always fighting to pull us below the line. Constantly trying to pull us below the line. And as women, we all get that, right? In more ways than one, right? And it's our job to be aware, to be self-aware of when we're falling below that line, so that we can pull ourselves back up again and live above the line. So we can all build great director teams, great advanced director teams. So we can all reach for the goals we have in our life for ourselves, for our families. Okay, that's the key. Now, along the way, in this book, the authors take you on a journey with Dorothy and her motley crew. And it really is kind of fun. And I swear to you, you'll never see the movie the same way again. The Cowardly Lion had to muster the courage to see it, right? He had to muster the courage to see it. And the question he had to is, what is the reality that he most needed to acknowledge? The Tin Man had to find the heart to own it. And how is he contributing? How am I contributing to the problem or the solution? The solve it was the Scarecrow. He had to obtain the wisdom to solve it. What else can I do to get the results that I'm looking for? And then there was Dorothy. She was the do-it girl, right? She was the person who really was the leader of the pack. She started out looking for her own Emerald City so that she could reach for her heart's desire to go back home, right? And along the way, she met and built a team, right, of people who were all looking for their Emerald City for all different reasons. Think about your teams today. It's the same thing. And along the way, they all had to figure out how to see it, to own it, to solve it, and do it. Did they run into any obstacles along the way? Yeah, they did, didn't they? Flying monkeys and grumpy old apple trees and wicked witches and flames and then there was the field of poppies. Do you remember the field of poppies? Yeah, what happened? So when Dorothy got to Oz, they told her to follow the yellow brick road. But she got to a certain point in her journey and she could see the Emerald City in the distance, and what did she do?
Slow down.
She got off the yellow brick road and she ran through the field of poppies towards her Emerald City, only to find out that she couldn't make it that way at all. Along the way, she was the do-it girl who really saved her team many, many times. But at that point, who saved her? Her team did. Absolutely. So really, really interesting when you read it and you really kind of see how it goes. And at the end of the day, we kind of are all looking for our own Emerald City in this business, aren't we? We all have different goals in this room, every single one of us, and that is absolutely fine. The four of them went off and they all had different goals. They all had different dreams. They all wanted different things. But together is how they made it happen. And they were able to make it happen even by going through the obstacles along the way. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when she starts off on the yellow brick road and she comes to the first fork in the road. And she says, well, now which way do I go? And the Scarecrow, she meets her first teammate. She meets the Scarecrow and he says, well, that was a very nice way. And it's pleasant down that way too. And of course, sometimes people go both ways. But which way do we need to go to really see it, to own it, to solve it, and do it in our Pampered Chef business? And that's what these 2 days are about. We're going to take you down that
Follow the yellow brick road.
Notice there are no shortcuts. She has to follow the yellow brick road. Think of being Claudia. So we are going to take you down that yellow brick road. You can think of us as the munchkins, but you could also think of me and Claudia and even Donna as your wizard. But I'm going to take you to the end of the movie, and you tell me what they found out about the wizard. What did they find out about the wizard at the end of the movie?
He really wasn't a wizard, was he? He really was just an ordinary person, just doing ordinary things
Every single day that created that image to happen. He really wasn't a wizard at all. And I'm not a wizard, and neither is Claudia, and neither is Donna, and neither any of those successful leaders that you met at National Conference this year or you meet when you go on conferences. We're just ordinary, everyday people. But there is something that sets people apart who have a lot of success. And that one thing that sets them apart is discipline. It's discipline and understanding that we are accountable to our own goals and what it is we want in our life. And we put the disciplines in place to make sure that those goals are reached and that you're able to have those things that you want. So leadership at the Pampered Chef. The role of the leader at Pampered Chef is to build a large and productive personal team for which you continually promote new directors and help them promote and level, help them have the same thing. If you want to build a strong team, whether it's a director team, an advanced team, a senior team, or maybe you're sitting here today or you're watching a Zoom today and you're thinking, I want to be just like Claudia and Donna when I grow up. I want to be the next Claudia Bazaar. I want to be the next Trish Woods. I want to go in 18 months, in 2 years, I want to be able to say I'm an executive leader too, right? Any one of you could be that. And here's the thing I would tell you, do not compare. Do not compare yourself to anyone else. And understand that your goals are your goals. And if your goal is to build a strong director team, that you're being paid at your level every single month, no matter what, right? $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 in sales. God bless you. At Pampered Chef, we can earn 2,000 more just like you. And we would be thrilled. But if you want more, you want to be an upper level director, instead of making good income, you want to make career income, you want to make like full-time job income. In my mind, you don't make full-time job income. Quit your job, just do Pampered Chef until you reach upper level. You have to be at least an advanced director or higher to be making what I call really, really good money, right? Great money here, right? Amazing money. But at advanced director level, just with one director in your organization, you could be making $3-4 grand a month easily. And I think that's pretty nice money, right? To make it in a part-time business. And it can absolutely be done, okay? And that's how you do it. Think about it that way. You build a large and productive personal team. Your personal team comes first. You have to be your personal business, build your personal team. And then the directors come from that. And when you're able to put both those pieces together, you'll be able to create that. How do we do it? We do it, okay, by really understanding that we're not really a director. We're really leaders, right? We promote directors at the Pampered Chef, and our hope is to help you, to give you what you need to go from being a director to truly being a leader, okay? A leader of people. So think about those three words: director, leader, inspirational leader. And how do they differ? How do those three words differ? If you just thought about the definition of director, the definition of leader, what is a director?
They kind of tell people what to do.
Yeah. They help people and they kind of tell them what to do, right? Directors direct, it's kind of a verb, right? It's an action word. Directors are really good at telling other people what they should be doing to be successful. That's what a director does, okay? John Maxwell, in his book, Develop the Leader Within You, 2.0, I haven't read that one yet, just came out. So the Develop the Leader Within You came out, way back when I was, could you pour me a cup of coffee? Way back when I was in the field, John Maxwell, he's the most prolific author of our times. He's written more books than anyone. Amazing books. And he's very, very smart. And his one of his first books was Develop the Leader Within You. He's just rewritten it to Develop the Leader Within You 2.0. It's sitting at home on my desk right now. It's going to be my next little reading binge that I'm going to go on. Now that executive seminar is over, I can actually do that. I can actually read another book. But in the Develop Leader Among You, he talks about leadership as a pyramid. And that everyone, that people fall into 5 different levels. Here I'm only talking about 3. I kind of whittled it down to 3 to make it easier for you to understand and kind of wrap your head around. But that very first level of leadership for Maxwell, he says that at the very first level of leadership is like director level. And basically what he says is that you're a leader because somebody anointed you a leader. You shall be a leader, right? It has nothing to do with the example that you give or the things that you're doing. It's because you're a leader because someone said you were, okay? That's kind of like the director level. Leaders, what's the difference between a leader and a director? What do you think? They lead by how? How do they lead? By example, right? And the next level of leadership in Maxwell's 5 is first, we're leaders because we're appointed. The second level of leadership is we're leaders, people follow us because we were appointed as a leader, but they like us. The third level is this. We were appointed as a leader, people like us, so they follow us, and they respect us too because we're leading the way. We are actually doing the things that we're asking other people to do ourselves. That's the third level of leadership. So leaders lead, they motivate others, they set the pace, they lead by example, so others will follow. Okay, they lead by example so others will follow. Inevitably, I go into a city and sometimes I'll see directors there who've been in the business for lots of years and I'll say to them, how are things going? Oh, Judy, it's not so well. I can't get my team to do anything. And I say, what do you suppose that is? I don't know. And I say, can I ask you a question? And I'm literally asking permission. And I said, I'm going to ask you 2 questions right now. Do you have permission to ask you the questions? And they say yes. I say, let me ask you a question. 2 of them. Number 1, how many shows have you personally held on average in the last 3 months? Each month. Now, many times I get a great answer to that question. Could be 6 or 8 or whatever it is every month. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Here's the second question. How many people have you personally recruited in the last 3 months? That's when I get the blank stare. Right? And that's when I say, this is what you have to understand, that you have got to be leading that way. The other thing about leaders is that when faced with the choice of which path to follow, they always choose the path that leads to the most success, even if it's the most difficult path to follow. Right? Dorothy went in the circle. She followed the yellow brick road. And there are going to be times in your business that you're going to be faced with choices. Should I do this or should I do this? Should I go that way or should I go this way? Leaders always choose the path that's going to lead to the most success, that's going to be the path that is going to help them live above the line, even if it's more difficult. And oh, by the way, it will almost always be the more difficult path to follow. Okay? Inspirational leaders. This is where you truly want to be. This is not an easy place to get to. Some of you are thinking right now, what is the difference between a leader and an inspirational leader? And I want you to think about that. I want you to think about people in your life who've inspired you, who've really, truly been a person that you really want to be around because they inspire you and they help you believe in yourself and do more, be more, so you can have more yourself. Right? Inspirational leaders truly do it all. They motivate others just like leaders do. They lead by example just like leaders do. They set the pace. But inspirational leaders take it a step further. Inspirational leaders believe, and believe. Number one, they believe in the power of them. It never comes into question. If you ever question yourself and what you're able to do, you're not at the inspirational leader level yet. Because you have to be able to believe in yourself. Because belief in self that you can do, be, and have anything you want in this life, if you're willing to work hard enough to get it, that you not only can do it, but you deserve to have it. And that's a huge difference for most people. Until I got direct selling, I didn't realize how many people, women especially, don't feel like they deserve to have certain things in their life. And that's very sad to me. Because you do deserve it. But first you have to believe you deserve it. You gotta believe in you. The second belief is to believe in others. And you can't have unconditional belief in others the way Claudia has unconditional belief in every single one of you unless you believe in yourself first. There is no way to have that belief in other people. There's no way I can stand up here and look you in the eye and say, you can have anything you want in this business. Partner with me. Let me show you how if you're willing to work hard enough to get it. If I didn't believe in myself first. You got to believe in you first, and then you believe in others. You've got to be their belief until it catches up, because most people don't have that belief when they first start. Claudia didn't have that belief when she first started, that she could build this business the way it was. But somebody believed in her enough along the way, so her belief caught up. And now she's inspiring other people to do the same. Make sense? Mm-hmm. The third belief is the transference. This is a hard one to really wrap your head around. So first belief is, I believe in the power of me. Second belief is, I believe in the power of you. The third belief is, I'm able to transfer that so that now you can send that same message. So I have had enough belief in me, enough belief in others, that I've helped Claudia believe in herself more. This is actually a Donna-Claudia thing, right? So Donna has helped Claudia believe in herself to the point now that Claudia is that person, right? That's the transference. Donna was able to transfer that, so now Claudia is able to do the same. That's the transference part that's so important. And here's the key at the end of the day. Inspirational leaders are able to paint pictures and visions so clear that other people can see themselves in it. And you think about inspirational leaders in the world today, in Pampered Chef, in the business, Doris Christopher, she painted pictures for people. She didn't even believe this company was going to turn into what it turned into. But now as the company built and grew, she was able to paint pictures for people. The company grew even bigger and even faster, right? Doris, think about your favorite football team. What sets those best top football, those Super Bowl winning football teams apart? It's the coach, every single time. Not the cheerleaders, right? It's the coach. Now, is the coach sometimes a cheerleader? Is the cheerleader an important part of the puzzle? Of course. But it's really the coach that sets it all apart. And when you think of those teams, right, that coach is able to paint a picture and vision so clear that every single teammate on that team can see themselves putting the ring on their finger. They can see the confetti flying on Super Bowl Sunday. They can see the trophy in their hands. They can see it, they can feel it, they can taste it. And they're able to paint that picture to get them to a point where they're actually even competing at the level that they have the right to play for that trophy. Right? The greatest inspirational leader, one of the greatest inspirational leaders of all times, and it doesn't matter to me what your religion is, was a man who walked the earth over 2,000 years ago, right? They called him Jesus. And here we are 2,000 years later, and a huge part of the world still believes in his teachings, still teaches teachings, still paint those pictures and visions so clear that people do it. Thank goodness he was a good man. Because there have been inspirational leaders who've done exactly the opposite, right? Think of Germany 40, 50 years ago. Okay, lots of inspirational leaders, and it can be done in more than one way. But they are able to create these pictures and visions so clear that people can see themselves. And that's what you want to be able to do. You want to paint those pictures and visions so clear that your team believes and sees themselves being successful. Right? When I walked into that room at National Conference, the magic that was going on in that room, if you were there, you saw me start crying. And I cried because I could see what was going on in that room. And I knew that vision was painted. It was there, and all of you were going to take it to the finish line. There was not a doubt in my mind. Because the picture was painted, the vision was there, the belief was there, everything was there that needed to happen. Okay, so are you an inspirational leader today? And if you're not, how can you become one? Right? And you do it by creating a vision and culture for success. So we're going to talk about culture a little bit, right? Because if the way we become inspirational leaders, leaders first, then inspirational leaders later. And which are you right now, by the way? If you were to write down and have to be honest with yourself, right? Really be honest, be personally accountable to where you are now, living above the line. Are you today director? You're pretty good at telling other people what to do, but maybe you're not leading by example. Are you a leader? You're leading by example, and you're able to motivate and inspire others. Or are you an inspirational leader? Okay. It's a hard level. That's the top of the Maslow pyramid. He calls it something different, but it's, so if you look at the pyramid, the way he draws it, it's like the people are like this. And you finally get to that peak, that pinnacle, and there's very few people who sit up there. And it should be all of your goals to be there. And we do it by creating vision and culture. Culture. You kind of get the vision piece, right? National conference, 400 people in red dresses or red pants or red boas or tiaras or whatever you guys had on stage up there. But you get the vision part where you're painting the vision. You see the red slippers here on the table in front of you. You have them on your feet. You can already see what's going to happen at National Conference next year, right? Claudia's already got her shoes. You've already seen them. You know what she's going to be wearing on that stage when she's able to stand with every single director of her organization on that stage to be introduced as the newest national executive team. But what's the culture part? The vision part.
Environment.
The vision part is easy. The culture part is tough. So culture, it's the environment. It's the shared set of values, goals, and practices that characterize a group, team, or organization. Where there's 2 people in your group, or 22 people, or 2,200 people, every group, team, or organization has a culture. It's what we do and what we say. It's the way we behave. It's the way we treat each other. That's what culture is. And there are 3 cultures we need to focus on at Pampered Chef to build strong teams. Now, certainly you could have a culture of teamwork and positivity and things like that. We could use a lot of words to describe culture, but these are the 3 things that you really need to focus on to build a strong team. The first one is teamwork and monthly activity. The second culture is fast-paced recruiting growth. And the third is career plan advancement. And when you focus on all three of those and you build culture around them, you will build a successful team the way you've seen others at the Pampered Chef build successful teams. The way you've watched Claudia build this team, the way you watched Donna build her team, Claire Dolger build her team, right? They created culture in their organization. The beautiful part about culture is we can create the culture we want. There are two ways that culture comes together, okay? One of two ways and only one of two ways. Number one, it comes together ad hoc. In other words, it just comes together, right? Nobody takes control of how it comes together. It comes together. The second way is you decide what it is you want your culture to be, and you are purposeful and intentional about creating that culture. Now, I want to I guess there's no doubt which way I would prefer you build culture in your organization, right? But I just want to paint a picture for you because that's what leaders do. They paint pictures really clear. I'm going to paint a clear picture for you why you don't want to let culture come together in your organization as it does. And quite simply, it's because the loudest voice will always win. And the loudest voice is not always a positive voice, is it? Do you ever go to the grocery store and buy this beautiful, beautiful box of strawberries? And like, you just can't wait to get those strawberries home because they look so amazing and so delicious, and you know they were just picked at the farmer's market down the road or whatever. You just can't wait to try those strawberries. They look amazing. You get them home and you throw them in the fridge and you get busy, and then the next day you go back in and you're ready to have those strawberries, and you go in the basket and you find this one moldy strawberry. What do you have to do with that moldy strawberry? Why?
Because it was a bad seed.
Because it will contaminate everything around it. It will create negativity, bad mojo all around it, okay? And that's why you have to be absolutely certain that you're creating the culture you want and that you have the positive always going on in your organization. So the recipe for success in creating culture, there are 4 different things you must do. You must know what it is you want your culture to be. You must teach what it is you want your culture to be, live what it is you want your culture to be, and protect what it is you want your culture to be. And culture is quite simply what we do and say, the way we behave, the way we treat each other. So, do you know what it is you want your culture to be? Yes, I just told you. Right? I just told you this is the culture you want. Do you know that I've been traveling around this country for 3 years teaching nothing but this? Why? Because it's important. Because I'm teaching the culture we want at the Pampered Chef. I know what it is we want the culture of the Pampered Chef to be, and I'm teaching it. And by doing it for 3 years and even having some of you in this room hear me teach the same thing, I'm also protecting it at the same time and living it. Because I'm not turning to the next thing. Never, never launch and abandon. Right? Don't ever launch and abandon. If you know this is the message that needs to be sent to help people have success, if you know these are the things I need to do to help me have success to reach the goals my family have, do not launch and abandon. That is the difference between people who have success and people who are always one little short step away from really getting it. They launch, they abandon. They do something really good for 1 month, 2 months, maybe 3 months, and they go, oh, okay, maybe that was a little too hard. And they take a step back. Let me go see what she's doing. Maybe she's got some magic, or maybe they've got some magic. Yeah, no, they don't. The magic is inside of you, every single one of you. Okay? Know it, teach it, live it, protect it. Protect it everybody says protect it. They ask, what's that really mean? Here's the thing about creating culture, guys. It never stops. I wish I could just if I could hit every executive team in the country and teach this culture once and go like magic, okay, they got it now, they're all gonna do it. Does it work that way, Claudia? No, Still doesn't work. 3 years I've been doing this. I got like half of them doing it. But I'll never stop. Because I know in all my heart and my soul that when you focus on this, you will have success. And we see it all over Pampered Chef. The teams who have mastered this are growing like crazy. Okay, teamwork and monthly activity, fast-paced recruiting growth. Career plan advancement. So let's start with teamwork and monthly activity. How do we create a picture and vision for our team, right? That was part of it. So clear they can see themselves part of something bigger than themselves. Guys, part of your role as a leader is you have to make sure that you're influencing and creating that culture. And so teamwork, monthly activity, right? There's two things in this culture. Teamwork, everybody working together towards common goals. Teamwork, right? Your team, the Dallas Cowboys, are all working together right now. I don't know if it's right now, this very second. It could be. Tomorrow, is it later this afternoon? When are they playing? Today, later today. My team is playing tonight, okay? My team is the New England Patriots. Their Sunday night game tonight. So, sorry. You're not a Patriots fan, eh?
No. Just saying, no, we all. I was just saying, I wasn't. Well, I can't say much. My team's Eagles, so.
It's okay.
Go hide under the table on that one.
It's okay. I know not everybody loves them, but the fact is they probably have the greatest quarterback of all time.
No, they really do.
And the greatest coach of all time on that team. And that's the magic, is the coach and the quarterback. They're amazing. But anyway, it's everybody coming together towards those common goals, right? Would everybody agree with me that's true? Teamwork. So if that's part of the culture, everyone coming together towards common goals, if I went to each and every one of you, all of you out there in Zoom land, hello, all of you out there in Zoom land and every single one of you here, and I said, well, what are the common goals that you and your team are working towards right now? Could you tell me? Good. Do they know? Good. That's important, right? I know in this organization, you know the common goal, right? It was 450 recruits, then it was 600 recruits, now it's 859 recruits. Right? I know the common goal, now you're in trouble, okay? Right? I know that it's to cross the 2 million, right? 2 million, right? To cross the $2 million mark. Do you think that your goal is any less important, any less of a big deal than the 859 and the 2 million? Because the number is smaller? It's not. It's just as important for every single one of you to have common goals in your team. Sales goals, monthly sales goals, recruiting goals, monthly, quarterly, yearly. I can get into that later. Than it is for this organization, the bullet train, to have their goals. And for the Landy bus, right, their number's even bigger, right? To have their goals too. Everyone working together towards common goals. So important. Second, consultants being paid at their level monthly, expecting 100% activity, and encouraging earning in both pay periods. So I know you've seen this because I know what happens in this organization, but I want to call it to your attention so you realize exactly what's happening in this organization, right? Activity. How many of you would give your IT that every single consultant in your organization was active in any given month? Yes, of course you would.
Why is that?
Let me ask you a question. Do you expect it? That's why it doesn't happen. Because you have no expectation that it's good and you don't believe it can happen. Okay? Here's what I'll tell you. And I'll go down the reality road with you right now. Reality is, if in 2 out of 12 months a year, if you get 100% activity in your organization in 2 months out of the year, you need to get down on your knees and thank God that it happened, because it's a big deal when it happens, right? That's the reality of it. But is there a difference between expectation and reality? Of course. And the way we get higher reality in our life, higher levels of reality, more people being active every month, is to have higher expectations of them. So if you were my team and I said to you, our goal every month is to have at least 50% activity every single month, and I know we can do it. Last month we were at 47%. We can do 50%. What's wrong with that statement?
You're saying.
Limiting it.
I limited it. I put limiting beliefs into everyone's head. And here's the question, which 50% of you aren't going to do it? This 50% or this 50%? Or do you all think you're part of the 50%? You don't have to be doing it. Because the minute I say a percentage, I just gave permission to everybody in the room not to be active. Right? It's crowd mentality. There's just recently a video on Facebook about crowd mentality. It's really kind of an interesting thing. They studied it for years and years and years. But if I'm walking down the street, right, and somebody falls in front of me and they fall on the street and I'm the only one around, I'm always going to go and help because I'm the only one. But if I'm in the streets in New York City and there's 50 people and this one person goes down, chances are pretty good that almost everybody is going to walk by. Because it's crowd mentality. The crowd mentality is somebody else will do it. Somebody else will take the responsibility. Someone else will take that on their shoulders. Right? Instead of, we're all part of this together. So how do you get your team to be earning in both pay periods and having 100%? You expect it and you talk about it. Know it. I know what it is I want my colleagues to be. Live it yourself. Are you being paid in both pay periods every single month? Are you being paid at your level? Not as a consultant, as a director, every single month. Right? Live it. Are you teaching it? Teaching it is the key. How do you teach that? Right? So I can give you an example of what it might look like at the opening of every single meeting you ever do.
Can you give an example for like a new director? Because we have so many new ones.
I absolutely can. So say you're running your meeting, right? You start off your meeting and you say, so maybe I'm the new director and you guys are my team, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the 6 of you right here on my team. And I might start the meeting and say, oh, I'm so excited to have you all together via Zoom today. Maybe we're Zooming via Zoom today so we can celebrate our success as a brand new director team. Last month, our goal was to better our best and do over $5,500 in sales. And as a team, you all sold $6,200 worth of paper chip products. And I could not be more excited or more proud of every single one of you. I mean, it's just a great accomplishment. And I'm very, very excited for each and every one of you. And right now, I want to recognize everybody who turned in sales last month. Because whether you turned in 1 order or you turned in 1 show or 22 shows, you were part of making that happen. And it takes everybody on this team to help us reach our goals. On our team, our goal, here's the key words, okay? On our team, our goal is that every consultant is active every single month. Why? Because when consultants are active, they're reaching for their dreams and goals. They're earning an income they came into Pampered Chef to earn, right? And on our team, we believe that the success of one truly leads to the success of all. Okay, use those words. They're being recorded right now, so you can go and get them. Use those words every single meeting. Sometimes I have leaders say to me, Judy, every single meeting, like, I hate to keep repeating myself. Repeat yourself, right? Protect the culture that you want. You need to expect them to be active every single month. Chances are, if they're not active, you gave them permission. What do you say when somebody says, do I have to turn in something every month? What's your answer?
Yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes. That is the answer. There is no other answer to that question. So if you said to me, well, if I join Pampered Chef, do I need to have sales every month? My standard answer to you would be, do you want to make money every month? Yes. Then you have to be active every single month. And then I would say to them, tell me how much money you'd like to earn every single month.
Done, ma'am.
How much? much?
You have an answer?
Yeah.
$2,000.
$2,000. So that is awesome. So in order for you to earn $2,000 every single month in your personal sales, you want to be absolutely sure, I'm trying to do the math in my head right now, 10 shows? 12, 15? You want to put 3 shows a week. So let's bring it down, because most consultants, you're a director, so you're saying that to me. Pretend you're a new consultant. And I said, so you're a brand new consultant. Okay, let's just kind of get real. Let me show you how it would really look. Okay. So I say to you, so you're coming into my team, you're just thinking about starting, and you ask the question, hey, do I have to sell every month? Like, what happens if I don't sell?
What happens if I don't sell?
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Always ask a question. Always remember to ask a question. Let me ask you a question. Do you want to make money every month?
Yes.
Tell me how much money you want to make every month.
$400.
Okay, so the answer then is yes. So to earn 400, you want to make sure you have at least 1 show every single week in the month. Totally doable. What if I told you that if you put 2 shows a week in, you would make not just 400, you'd probably making closer to $1,000, because the more we sell, the more shows we have, the better we get, the more we sell. How do you feel about making $1,000 a month?
That would be awesome.
So 2 shows a week, I can show you how. Are you willing to put your hand in mine for the next few weeks so I can show you how? Okay. You cannot be afraid to push them. Guys, how many of you, if they would have said 400, you would have said, okay, 1 show a week, that's good. They said 200, you said 2 shows a month, that's good, and you walk away. Push them. Most of the time, they're telling you a number, they don't even know what they're saying. They have no concept, they've never sold Pampered Chef. They don't realize, they don't even know where they're gonna get their shows. They already think their friends think they're crazy, their husband's probably telling them you're nuts. My husband told me I got scammed when I started, right? So, oh, you get scammed, I know. Don't listen to them. Remove them from your, here's what you say to them.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing,
Okay,
it's
this is what you
pyramid
say.
scheme.
Look at the, you look her in the eye. You say,
So you know what we did? We gave his wife a Pampered Chef book.
I'm gonna give you a better way, because you've gotta get that crap. You gotta get it away from you. I'm telling you, he's feeding your brain with your crap.
You're in New York.
I was like, we're adults.
I know what you say. You look at him straight in the eye, and you have just as much cojones as he does. Because he's got a set on him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be saying that to you. So here's what you look at him. You look at him straight in the eye and say, you and I are gonna have to agree to disagree on this, because I love my Pampered Chef business, so I have a deal for you. Okay? Let's not talk about Pampered Chef.
Okay, that's perfect.
Stay in control. There's 2 people in every situation, a buyer and a seller. You never want to be the buyer. You always want to be the seller. Right now, he's the seller, you're the buyer. Stop it. Be in control.
I have a question.
Yes.
Some of my consultants are, of course, they saw the thing that said wherever when they first started, they've been with me for, well, one was been with me for a little over a year, maybe almost 2. And so she said, all they have to do is 150 every 6 months. I keep trying to get her out of that mindset. Do you have any words of wisdom that
Yes.
would help me with that, please?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Look at me in the eye. Move on. She's not gonna change.
She's not gonna change.
Go get 5 more.
Okay.
That's my word of wisdom.
Okay.
Love them and appreciate them for who they are. Okay, and guys, I mean this with my heart. I've said it my whole career. My mentor said it to me. Judy, you've got to learn to love and appreciate them for who they are, what they bring into your life, what they bring into your organization, but you got to go out and find the next ones, because they may never change.
She can still hang on to that, but I'm getting new ones.
Whatever, that's fine, but we'll get 5 more. We're gonna listen to you, because of those 5, only 2 of them will probably ever listen to you anyway, so just keep going, getting 5 more every time. Right?
Yeah, right, we do.
Okay, but here's the other thing, guys. If we got rid of every consultant who was holding 1 show every 6 months, or 1 show a month, or 1 show every other month, the Pampered Chef would collapse.
I wouldn't be here. right
There
now.
wouldn't be a company, right? Look at that. She wouldn't even be here today. Love them and appreciate them for who they are. It's absolutely fine if that's what they want to do, but it doesn't mean it doesn't mean that you still can't set high expectations and still be looking for people who want to do more. Do you ever make the assumption either that that's all they ever want? Because someday it might change. And if you're not loving it, right, if you're not loving and appreciating them along the way, then it's never going to happen. So how do you help her? Just ask her the question. Say, do you want more? No. Do you want more? You know what? You've been with me for, what's her name?
Lara.
Lara, you know what, Lara, you've been with me for a couple of years, and I know you really love being part of the team, and that we love having you. Is this a time in your business that you might want more out of it? Because if you do, I'd love to show you how. And then shh and listen. We spend so much time trying to talk people into things. The key is letting them talk themselves into it, not you talking them into it. It's got to be their idea. Okay, go find 5 more.
Okay.
Ask her the question. It might be a yes, it might be a no, but who knows? Go find 5 more. Right? Can't be in save and protect.
Yeah.
Can't be in save and protect. Okay, you kind of get this? How you do this? And when your new consultants come into business, that's the time to start creating the culture. Early on, you have to set those expectations early on. Steve Drapolsky, new executive director at Pampered Chef, got promoted side by side with Trish at national conference and was at his first exec sem. When I asked Steve Drapolsky, Steve, tell me the number, if there's one thing that you feel helped you be this successful, as successful as you've been, he promoted in 2 years. Then Trish came up, little upstart that she is, and beat him. Now he's after a new one.
Oh.
He wants to hold the record. He's going. So do you. I know. But we'll see what happens. I said to him, what do you think is the one thing? If there was one thing you could put your finger on. He said, oh, that's easy. I know what it is. I said, what is it? He said, it's the way my new consultants start. I said, how do you start your new consultant, Steve? He said, well, when they come into business, I ask them about what they want from their business. I ask them how much income they'd like to earn and how many shows they could see themselves doing. And no matter what they say, I tell them, that's great, but in your first few months, I'm going to ask you to stretch yourself. So no matter what they say, that's great, but in your first few months, I'm going to ask you to stretch yourself, and here's the reason why. Those are magic words, write them down, and here's the reason why. Anytime you ask anyone to do something that you feel might be out of their comfort zone, just say, here's the reason why. Every study ever done on human behavior since the 1950s shows that if you simply tell people why you ask them to do something, they're much more likely to do it. Here's the reason why. Because we know that consultants who start by holding 2 shows in each of their first 4 weeks of business, live or virtual or a combination, get off to a more successful start. They earn more income, they pay for their kit faster, and they stay with us longer. That's a pretty good reason. Why? So are you willing, and then he says, so are you willing to stretch yourself? Could you imagine saying no? Like, I bet 1 in 50 maybe says no to him. And 1 in 50 will say no to you if you do it exactly that way. But it takes confidence, doesn't it? It takes confidence. When Steve first started in the business, all he wanted to do was sell. And he was doing a pretty crappy job at that. And then all of a sudden, he saw this one person on the team was recognized for having like $3,000 shows or something like that in a month. And he had never had a $1,000 show. He was like, maybe I could have a $1,000 show. And then he went and figured out how she was doing it, and he did the same thing. And lo and behold, he had a $1,000 show. And all of a sudden, he figured that out. He started having $1,000 virtual shows. Steve is like the top seller, one of the top, like in the company, personal sales, all virtually. Now, he has $1,000 shows like they're going out of style, virtually.
Great.
It is great. And if he can do it, you can do it too. That's what I'm telling you. If you do the same things they do, you will have the same results. So, his team, then he decided he was going to get a little team because he decided that I could make Stacy talked him into it, I think. I could make more money in everything I'm selling if I had people on my team. Yeah, that makes sense. I might as well make more on what I'm selling and make on what they're selling. So he started recruiting. But his team was called Steve Selling Superstars or something, rock stars, selling rock stars. He wasn't recruiting many people at all. And all of a sudden, he realized, huh, gotta change the name of my team. We're so focused on selling, nobody's recruiting. He changed his team, Steve Selling and Recruiting Rock Stars, and magic happened. He still did it in 2 years. Not 18 months like Miss Trish Woods over there, but he did it in 2 years with just that kind of focus. And he was recognized #1 in personal sales and personal
But it
recruiting.
really doesn't take 2 years or 18 months.
It doesn't.
Because they didn't know what they wanted, and once they know what they wanted,
It
was like,
goes.
it goes.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
How long did it take
You
you to
decide.
realize what they wanted?
You have to decide.
I would say Trish, probably 3 to 5 months. Once she knew how it worked, what
Yeah,
she needed
she
to
was-
do, what she wanted, then, yeah, she didn't know what she
I think
wanted.
within 6 months, she went
Yeah.
from boom to boom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, within 6 months. And she just made that, no, I mean, she was promoting, and then I think she just made the decision to make it happen, and it went from there. Okay, so, you guys all have this?
She was a kidnapper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was kidnapped, so was Steve. He was a
And my
kidnapper.
speech about her said, Trish is a kidnapper gone wild.
Yes, yes.
Here's the last one, expecting and encouraging all directors to be paid at their level every month. Okay, that is another big piece of the puzzle, is that not only do we want to encourage our consultants to be paid at their level, we want to encourage everybody in our organization to be paid at their level. Consultants, senior consultant directors, and beyond, okay? Some of you in this room are upper level directors, right? Trish is an executive leader, Claudia, senior executive director. There's Lori's senior director. Who's your other senior?
Joby Johnson.
Joby, right, exactly. Is she on there? There's 3, right? I know, my brain does the same thing sometimes. Okay, here's the thing. Once you become an upper level, your expectation should be that every director in your organization, look at me, Joby.
I'm sorry.
I'm talking to you.
I'm sorry.
Your expectation should be that every director in your organization is being paid at their level as well. Not just consultants, 150, senior consultants, team leaders, 2,500, directors, 5,000, right? Advanced directors should be paid to their level, 12,000, and on and on and on. Why? Because if they're being paid at their level, they're earning an income. And they're happy, and they're excited, and they're gonna stay longer.
And we don't want to leave money on the table.
It never leave money on the table. Warren Buffett has enough. We don't need to give him any more, right? He has enough money. We don't have to do it. But everybody being paid at their level every single month. Okay, I am sure there are directors zooming in and right here in this room that you have not been paid at your level every month. Would you like me to tell you why? Because you're focused on the wrong thing. You're focused on 5,000. Stop it. Focus on 10. Right? If you are only focused at the minimum, you're striving to hit a minimum, and then if you come up $100 short or $300 short or a party short, you're kicking yourself, right? But imagine if you strove for 10,000 and you came in 2 parties short. That's not so bad anymore, is it? You gotta think bigger. Leaders, write this down. Leaders never work to minimums, ever. Ever. Your minimum, you're a director, your minimum is 10,000. You're an advanced director, your minimum is 24,000. You're a senior director. What's the number for senior? I don't even know. They go so far beyond it. 48?
48.
You're a senior director, your minimum is 100,000. I'm talking to you, Lori Bedwell.
She's not there.
I know she's next. Okay, so you got it? Guys, don't focus on minimums, right? You needed 5 consultants to promote to director. You need 5 more in the 3 months following, if not sooner, right? If you promoted the director in a month, you fast-tracked. How many of you fast-tracked? Well, hello, why do you even need 3 months? You could do it another month, go get 5 more. Go get 5 more in a month or 2 months. But the immediate goal you have when you promote your director and teach your new directresses when you promote them is to double, right? My rule is you get 1 day to celebrate and it's back to work. I've had this conversation more than once. You get 1 day to celebrate and back to work. What's the next goal? What's the next goal? What am I going to do next? Because you can't rest on your laurels. It just isn't going to work, especially your first 5. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I had to have 6 when I promoted way back when, 30 plus years ago. And guess what? Not one of them qualified. Not one of my first 6 qualified. Not one. Imagine if I said, oh, this doesn't work. I give up. My leader said, go get 6 more. Believe me, the next one's qualified. I didn't make the same mistake the second time. Here was my mistake. I thought they were going to be just like me. I found out they weren't. They weren't. There's a reason why only 5% of the people at the Pampered Chef ever hold the director title. Scary, right? 40,000 consultants, 2,000 directors. Do the math. Do the math.
Well, wait a minute.
Numbers never lie.
We're part of that 5%.
That's right. You are all part of that 5%.
So we're glad to have
Right? So the other thing when people say to me, I just want somebody just like me, I say, how many people did you recruit in the last 3 months? They say 2. I say, you don't deserve one just like you. We haven't recruited enough. 10. The rule of, do you know the rule of 10? Here's the rule of 10. I wish I had a little marker here, like to show you. The rule of 10 in direct sale is 10. You recruit 10 people, right? Of those 10, you're gonna have 1 up here who is an absolute rock star. You're gonna have 1 on the bottom who sells nothing. Zippo 0, right? Then up here you have number 7, 8, and 9, and you have number 2, 3, and 4. They're probably going to do 1, maybe 2 shows a month, maybe if you're lucky, maybe every other month even. And then you're going to get the solid true blue in the middle, who are active every single month. That's the rule of 10 in direct selling. You want a rock star? You want a director? Recruit 10, and you'll find her. She'll be there.
Mine was there and just fell off the face of the earth.
The next one will be the one. She will be.
No, she went outside.
That was
She's probably getting in trouble for upgrading you. No, just kidding.
Okay, so that's that. So remember, your word choices are powerful, and be sure to recognize team success for this. Talk in the plural. Some of you have not heard me say this before. Always talk in plural. So when you're talking to your consultants, it's we, us, our, and team. You remove I and me and you, okay? Anything singular you should be avoiding using when you're talking with your team. Also avoid the word under. Under is not a good word in our business, so people use it all the time. She's under me. That doesn't sound like a team at all, right? No, she's part of our organization. She's a member of our team, right? Talk in the plural, talk in team type words, and you'll start sending that message and creating the culture, right? I hate the word under. Hate it. Take it out of your vocabulary. Okay, recognize team success. I'm a huge believer in every time you start, whenever you do a meeting, you open the meeting with team recognition. You close the meeting with personal recognition, and you don't mix them. You don't do personal and team recognition together, because if I said, congratulations, you're an amazing team, you sold $6,522 worth of Pampered Chef products, blah, 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 you guys are doing a great job, and I want to recognize our top 3, she had 2,000, she had 1,500, she had 1,000, I just said that you 3 are more important than everybody else on this team. Okay? They deserve that recognition, but separate it. So the team, the whole team recognition happens in the beginning. Does that make sense? Think, how can I build team? How can I build team? How can I build team? Establish a team identity, right? You guys know how to get that? I mean, you're the bullet train, you came from the Landy bus, right? I mean, Do you have your own team names? Do all of you have your own team names? Good. Make sure you do. Okay, this was Team Be Brave. I loved it. I thought it was so cute. Facebook banners. Make sure that you're sharing the team goals and how many new consultants you're bringing into your organization. This is an advanced director. Basically, you know, here's her team. Here's the directors of her organization. And then here she was showing as they went up in sales for their goal. Their monthly goal was $45,000. And she used this to kind of, when they got to each different $5,000 increment, she turned it green. So all month long, the team knew where they were in the sales. They knew when teams turn green, right?
So you suggest that at every level?
Every level. Might as well start early. The earlier you start, the easier it is to do. Okay, this is just, I'll show the recruiting ones in a little bit. All right, so see it, own it, solve it, and do it. So that's, any questions on creating culture, teamwork, and activity? Here's what you need to know about that culture, is that is the first one that you have to create. So there's 3 cultures, right, that you want to focus on. You can't leave here and say, I'm going to just go focus on that career plan advancement one because that's the one that's going to get me where I want to go faster. It doesn't work that way. You have to create teamwork and monthly activity before you can create fast-paced recruiting growth. Because if you don't have teamwork and activity, fast-paced recruiting growth will never happen. And if you don't have fast-paced recruiting growth, career plan advancement's never going to happen either, right? So this organization has all three cultures just going strong, hot and heavy and really, really strong, right? But it's because they were built on each other. Claudine didn't one day decide, okay, we're going to promote 27 directors. She first had to get the teamwork thing going, and then she had to get the recruiting thing going before the directors would pop. Make sense? Okay.
So could you, I don't know, are there any new directors that are feeling overwhelmed? Are you good?
I'm not working with mine.
Okay.
I'm like going through all this right here, like that's why no one's doing anything.
Right. I just didn't know if you could maybe give them some examples of goals that they should set.
Oh yeah,
If they're
I
brand
can absolutely
new,
do that.
and you know how this one promote with 5.
I can absolutely do that.
3 already not doing anything.
Yeah. So let's just think about the goal setting piece, okay? And we can do it for the recruiting piece and for the sales piece. We can do both of them. So let me just touch on this, and then I'll come back and setting the goals on both, because we probably won't get to all 3 of them today. So the thing about fast-paced recruiting growth is this, is that you first have to set the example, okay? You must set the example. You have to be personally recruiting, right? Back in the day, Doris Christopher taught her very first leaders in the company 2 shows a week, no matter what, 2 recruits a month, no matter what, will get you anything you want in this business. And I know it doesn't make sense. But 2 shows a week will lead you to getting 2 recruits a month. But what if I told you, if you left here determined, you decided, right? Decided that no matter what, you were going to become a woman on a mission to hold 2 shows a week, October, November, and December, and recruit 2 a month, October, November, December, that you weren't going to sleep until it happened. You were going to make sure it happened. That within 3 to 6 months, you could be moving up in the career plan. Matter of fact, in 6 months, you could be an executive if you simply did that. Doesn't make sense, does it? 2 a month. If I recruit 2 a month for 6 months, that's only 12 people. How am I going to get 8 directors from 12 people? The answer is you're not. What happens is you set a level of belief in people, so you are no longer the only person recruiting in your organization. And the best story I can tell you on this is 2 leaders in our company who came to the very first Lead Plus seminar 2 years ago in 2016, when we ran it for the very first time. One lived in Oklahoma, one lived in Wisconsin, and they were sister directors. The gal in Wisconsin once lived in Oklahoma, but moved back where her husband's family was. And they're in the same organization, sister directors like you guys are. And the invitations went out for Lead Plus. And they both got one, and they both called each other, because they're like best friends. Did you get one? Yes. Did you? Must be a mistake. Why are they asking us? Because they never held 2 shows a week in their life, and they never recruited 2 people a month in their whole career. And they've both been with Pampered Chef for probably 3+ years at that time. And this has got to be a mistake. But if you do it, I'll do it, and I'll do it if you'll do it. So the both of them decide they're going to do it. And so to be in Lead Plus, you commit to 2 shows a week, 8 shows a month, and 2 recruits a month. That's your commitment to be part of the leadership program for Pampered Chef. 2 shows a week or 8 shows a month. You submit 8 shows a month and recruit 2 a month. And we give passes. Everybody gets 3 passes, because we know that sometimes there's a month that doesn't work out. And sometimes there's a month you have 3 or 4 or 5, right?
And that's.
So they both come to the very first meeting. It starts in February. Invitations go out in January, starts February 1st. The very first meeting is held in March. They both come to the meeting together. One from Oklahoma, one from Wisconsin. Literally show up in the room. One says that she was throwing up in the bathroom because she felt so out of place, so intimidated by the people who are going to be in the room. It must be a mistake. She could not be in this room. Like literally throwing up in the bathroom. And she wasn't pregnant. She was just throwing up in the bathroom. And she came out, and we started the meeting, and we asked the same question. Begin with the end in mind. Where do you see your business 6 months from today? At the end of this year, it was March, at the end of this year, I think we did national conference, right? National conference. Why not you? We asked. And they said it didn't make any sense. No sense at all. But if Pampered Chef was going to stand up there and say, if I do 8 shows and recruit 2, that I can go from where I am today as an advanced director to executive in 6 months, then I'm just going to believe it. I'm going to believe what they tell me. I'm going to do what they tell me. And we're going to go for it. And the 2 of them made that decision, pretty much on blind faith. And they went home and they did it. They never really exceeded it. Maybe in 6 months, one of them might have had 3 recruits. Did their 8, 9 shows a month. Nothing crazy. No craziness anywhere going on there. And the following year, right, so March of that year, by the end of that year, they promoted both of them within a month of each other as executive leaders. They were recognized at the very next national conference as executive leaders. How many directors do you have to be an executive? 8. You need 8. 6 and 2. 6 in the first gen, 2 in the second. They didn't promote with 6 directors, 8 directors, or 9, or 10, or even 11, or 12, or 13. They both promoted side by side with 16 directors in their organization. Yeah. And there's 2 reasons I tell that story. Number 1, you got to trust, you got to follow the yellow brick road. You just got to trust the system. And number 2, we are the sum of the 5 people we surround ourselves with the most. The 2 of them, side by side together. An amazing national executive director in Carol Redu. Amazing. Right? Like Donna Landy. Like amazing. And the 2 of them never let any negativity come in. They just didn't allow it, and they just kept moving forward. And side by side, they achieved that. It's an amazing story. And it just happened 2 years ago. Not this last national conference, the one before. Melody Harper and Trina Lutzke. They're both executives with us today. Trina's had a baby since then. Melody fell and broke her, oh God, that was a mess, her arm, like in 10 different places. I don't know, she really messed herself up. Yeah, she fell on the ice last winter.
Oh, yeah.
But they got through it. They got through it. Their business kept going and growing, and they got through it. They struggled some of those months, but they got through it. So this is the key, guys. Make sure you're personally recruiting. You have to set team goals and recognize success in recruiting. So let me, and you have to track it. So let's talk about the setting the goals now. Setting the goals, okay. So there's 2 sets of goals that you need to set. One is a team sales goal, one is a team recruiting goal. If you're an upper level leader, you need to not only have a personal team recruiting goal, but you also need to have, who's that? Who's that sitting there? Hi, Jennifer. A new face. We have 6 now. Sorry. Where was I?
Personal.
Thank you. Okay. If you're an upper level leader, you need a personal team and an organizational goals. Okay, both. Right? You're thinking, oh, that's so much more. Yeah, you get paid more too, so get over yourself. All right. You need to have both, but it always starts with your personal team. So the personal team sales goal, how do you set that? I'm a big believer this should be done on a monthly basis. Okay, and the goal should always be to beat the month before, right? You always want to beat the month prior. But there's a couple things you need to do to really decide what that number should be, okay? And there's something that you all have access called a prior year comparison. Now, some of you are brand new, you don't even know the prior year comparison exists. Maybe they do, yes. Okay, prior year comparison. And I kind of figured out, because I believe that's your Bible, and it was really odd to me when I go around the country and directors don't know their prior year comparison. And then I realized why. It's because of the name of the report. We need to change it. Because it's called prior year comparison, you're a brand new director, you don't even think you have a prior year, so why would you go there? But in fact, it's also showing you your prior 3 months, your prior 4 months, your prior 6 months. And so you need to see that in order to set those goals going forward, right? But if you've been in over a year, you're going to be able to look year over year, and you're going to be able to look at the prior 3 months. And both those pieces are important. Right, now Claudia, when she has more time, I usually do a whole 1 hour just on how you figure this out. But Claudia, maybe you can do with them, especially as the end of the year comes near, so they can start planning. But basically what you want to do to set a sales goal is you want to look at 2 things. You want to look at what you did year over year. What did you do last October? Okay. And you might not have last October, but you will next year. And the second piece is you want to look at the 3 months prior. That's called momentum. Right? So say I've been in business for 2 years. It's October. It's September, end of September, and I want to set the October goal with my team. The first thing I'm going to go and I'm going to look, what did I do last October? So say last October my team did 10,000. Nice easy numbers to use. Did 10,000. The second place I want to go is what did I do in the prior 3 months? Now, if I look at the prior 3 months and I see we did 5, 7, 8, 10's a pretty good place to go. But if I look at the prior 3 months and I see that we did 10, 11, 12, is 10 a good place to go anymore? No. So you've got to look, what did you do last year? So you kind of know what you were capable of in the same month year over year. And then you look at momentum and how much are you growing month to month, but also over the year. So it's like a percentage. Okay, so it's once you start doing it, it gets easier, but I promise you it'll work out. So say I did 10,000 last year, and I looked at the last 3 months, and I did 10, 12, 15, right? So year over year, I might be up 20%, then I should be able to do 20% over the 10 that I did the year before. Does that make sense? And then a little stretch to stretch myself.
Are you talking about the 3 months prior to the year before, or
3 months prior to current? Mm-hmm. Makes sense? Once you get in there and you play with it, you'll understand it. Recruiting numbers, okay? You want the recruiting numbers, I set those a little differently, especially if you're a new team, right? First you decide, what am I going to do? What am I going to be personally accountable for, personally responsible and personally accountable to? What am I going to do? So say you decide 2 a month no matter what. So October, November, December, it's 2, 4, 6. That's the starting point. The goal cannot be less than 6 for October, November, December, right? And then you have a team who can also recruit. So if you're a small team, you don't have a lot of people on your team, your minimum would be 10. Okay, you never want to have a goal, a 3 month goal less than 10, ever.
But if you look at prior year and you look at the prior 3 months, and you've already recruited more than 10 in 3 months, then you would want the goal to be higher. Make sense? Okay, you really have to look at the numbers to decide. And if you have trouble doing it, just talk to Claudia. Just say, hey, I need help. And she can help you set a 1 month and 3 month goals. And even if you have to do it a couple times with her, eventually you'll get it and you'll be able to do your own goals now, right? I used to sit with you and help you figure out your numbers more than once, right? We're talking big numbers now when we're looking at it. So, but it starts much smaller and it eventually grows. And now is the time to do it, right? Don't just hope and pray it's going to come together. Decide what it is you want, become intentional about what it is you want, and then create it to happen, knowing that you have to lead the way as the leader. Okay, so once you have figured out the goals, so say you all leave here, and you decide that's your homework, we're gonna have them set their goals. October, we're only halfway through October, right? What's the date? State of the board?
No.
Yeah, we're only halfway through October. So October, November, December, I want you to set your sales goal for October, November, each one separate, and then a 3 month recruiting goal. So here's why I don't do monthly recruiting goals. I'm not a huge believer in monthly recruiting goals, like that are set each and every month. I'm a believer in setting the 3 month goal and then breaking it down into pieces, but longer. And here's why. Say I decide over the next 3 months I want to recruit 30 people, right? 10 each month, 30 people. But instead of saying 30, I put it out there, our goal this month in October is 10. And you come up with 8. How's your team feel? How do you feel?
Yeah.
And say next month you come up with 9. Did your team reach the goal?
No.
Nope. How do you feel?
Yeah.
Close, not there. Oh, maybe I said it too high. Maybe you're starting to think negative crap instead of positive crap. All right? So, but what if it was 30? And the first month you did 8, and the second month you did 9. And now, 8 and 9, you're at 17. And you go into the last month, all of a sudden, we only need 13 people this month, we can do it. Right? That's why. Because here's what happens, guys. If I recruit 10 new people this month, or 8 new people this month, and I recruit 9 new people this month, that's 17 new people who are recruiting in this month. Get it? It shouldn't be even. Right now, there are how many new consultants in this organization? There are 256 consultants out there who could recruit this month. You're going to blow that number out of the water if you do it right. At 859. If you do it right, there's 250. You get 1. Think about it.
Yeah.
If those 250 each got 1, what would happen to all of your teams?
They would blow up. They would.
Do the math. Do the math. If all 250, how many came into each of your teams? Write it down. What number came into your team last month? Write it down. I'm going to do the math. I want you to do the math on this. I want to show you. You're going to know math. Math tells you everything. Write the number of consultants that came into your organization last month. Write it down. Everybody write it down. Write it down. Okay. Now I want you to imagine that every single one of them qualified. Multiply that number times 1250 in October. What does it equal? Throw out a number. Oh, hello! You mean that your new consultants could qualify you as a director team without even you doing anything, but you won't do that, will you, darling? No, you will not. So your team is a 10K team. What you just told me is you have a 10K team sitting there. Between you and everybody else and every one of them qualifying, magic. What's your number? You see? You see? It's unbelievable. Do the math. Now imagine, take every new consultant that just came in and they all recruited 1. And each one of those people, the original ones that came in, plus the new ones, so you doubled the number, right? Each one of them, between now and the end of the year, just sold 2,000. Between now and the end of the year, holiday selling season. Do the math. Guys, that should blow your doors off. You don't think big enough. Do the math. It's unbelievable what can happen when it starts adding up. That's why there are 603 consultants in this organization.
It's momentum. It just goes out of control. That's why what happened on Tish's team happened on Trisha's team. Right? It's momentum. It just blows up. Think big. Don't be afraid to dream. Okay? Now, once you get the goal, like say you decide, okay, it's gonna be 10 to 30. Okay? I just pretty much told you it shouldn't be less than 30. 10 a month, right? It shouldn't be less than 30. You need to figure out a way to record the success. There's a lot of different ways to do it, right? Freezer paper, this is the original way people would track success. This was before Canva, right? This was before Canva. I still love it because it rolls back up, it goes under your counter, you take it out every couple of weeks, you add a few names on it, you take a picture, you post it.
Actually, I think it might still be that thing on
There you go.
From 2 years
Right?
ago.
Here's a Canva board. So it was the goal, they set a yearly goal of 300, much like you set a yearly goal of 300 last year, right? And she said that just breaks down to 25 each month. And so she put up 25 parts each month. And some months they had more than 25. Some months they had less than 25. But the goal was to fill up at least 25 parts every single month. Okay?
Okay, so you do bricks, right? Bricks.
You're doing bricks? Love it. Here's one I think is adorable, little aprons.
Aw, that's cute.
Little aprons, and they just add the name. So this was a Lead Plus this year. There's 44. She wanted
I
to have,
love that, it's adorable.
she wanted to have 44 consultants. I think this is a 3-month goal. 44 in 3 months, and she added their names to the apron as they came in. Okay, here's my favorite, because of the new donut can.
Aw.
Sweet
Oh, that's
success,
adorable.
100 strong. So right now, this reader, the last I saw this, there were names almost to here, I think, for her 100. I haven't seen it since the end of September. This was a couple months ago I saw it. Okay, Canva. Yes, my darling, you do. It takes all the pieces of the puzzle. I promise it'll be worth it. Right, so you gotta see it, own it, solve it, do it. Okay, 10 minutes. Sorry. Any questions? Recruiting goals, right?
Carolyn has a question.
Sales goals.
Yes, ma'am. I have a question. I'm just going backwards.
Go backwards, that's fine.
So when you say, so for like, when you're saying to lead by example, like if you're having a meeting, how do you, like say for recruiting, so if you're recruiting, how do you show them that you are leading by example without being like, hey, look at this?
Good question. It's actually a great question. So, Ken, it's really important. Number one,
Did you hear it?
No.
No, she didn't hear
So the question is, how do you show that you're leading by example without being boastful, basically? That's what you're saying, without saying it. That's basically it. Your team deserves to see what you're doing as part of it, right? And so one of the things that you want to do is you want to recognize, so this is just a fun way to show the 100, but every month, as new consultants come in, please welcome Susie Jones, who was recruited, who was welcomed to our team by Davina, who was welcomed to the team by Judy, by Claudia. We always put the recruiter's name so they can see that you're welcoming new consultants, right? The other piece of the puzzle is if you have directors in your organization that you're doing your team meetings with, you can recognize each other. I see that happening often where, like if Claudia and Donna were doing a meeting together, Donna would recognize Claudia, Claudia would recognize Donna, and then the team would do without Donna having to say, oh, by the way, I recruited 18 personal recruits down the landing, 24, number 1 in the nation, right? 24.
Somebody else recognize you.
Yeah, you can have somebody else recognize you, but always
That's
do recognition on your Facebook wall and put the name of the recruiter. They're gonna see it there too.
Even if it's yourself.
Even, yes,
You'd say by me or no by.
by me, by your name. I would say Susie Smith, recruited by Judy Joel. It would just say my name right next to it, yeah. So here's the thing, guys. It's only about you if you think it's about you, all right? And this is a really hard thing for me back in the day to kind of get my head around. And my mentor used to say to me all the time, when it was Zig Ziglar who, listening to Zig Ziglar really brought me to a new place. Because at first when you come into the business, it is kind of about you because it's your goals and you're reaching for them and doing everything else. But you really hit new levels of leadership when you really truly understand what it means to be a servant leader. Okay, and Zig Ziglar teaches that if you do enough things for other people, you never have to worry about